Originali.
A Lingue Originali, eccoci a un nuovo appuntamento con la lingua inglese. Bentrovati da Dario Albertini. Il nostro Marco Piovaz, dall'inizio di questo primo ciclo di trasmissioni, ha scelto di proporvi alcuni monologhi di Alan Bennett, in particolare quelli compresi nella raccolta Talking Heads, che alla fine degli anni '80 è stato un vero e proprio caso letterario e televisivo, visto che la BBC, la rete nazionale britannica, ne fece un ciclo di trasmissioni, di cui si parla tuttora e che potete anche andare a vedere in lingua originale su YouTube. Ebbene, tante donne protagoniste dei monologhi di Alan Bennett, ce ne sono due legati da un filo neanche troppo sottile. Il primo lo abbiamo già ascoltato, Miss Fuzzer Finds Her Feet, lo trovate sul nostro canale YouTube, e dalla scorsa puntata stiamo scoprendo ancora una volta in 3 episodi Nights in the Garden of Spain. Ancora una donna protagonista, Rosemary. Rosemary che viene avvicinata dalla signora McCorkdale, che, pensate un po', ha sparato a suo marito. Già. Ne nasce una amicizia e poi scopritelo. Scopritelo in questa puntata e nella prossima, insieme a Marco Piovaz qui a Lingue Originali. Per voi la seconda parte di Nights in the Garden of Spain da Talking Heads di Alan Bennett. Buon ascolto.
I put on my little greeny-coloured costume, which is at least tried and tested. Only when I came down, Henry said, "Oh, are you going in that?" So I went and changed into the black. No need, because it was all very casual. The policeman in his shirt sleeves, and some barrister taking me through what I've said, scarcely interested at all. I gave her a little smile. They let her sit down most of the time. She did look pale. Pleaded not guilty, which you have to do apparently, even when they know you did it. Only then her lawyer reads out a list of stuff they'd found wrong with Mrs. McCorkdale when she'd been arrested. Old fractures, new cigarette burns, and one of her teeth loose. Another lawyer then jumps up and said, "Were other people involved?" And she said, "No." And he said he wouldn't pursue that at this stage. The upshot is, she was sent for trial. I said to Henry, "Do that mean they'll have to go through it all again?" He said, "Oh yes, this is just the beginning." Policewoman came round this afternoon, said, did I want any counselling? I'm entitled to it apparently, through having seen a body, and should have had it earlier, only they had a charabanc run off the road, so they've got a bit of a backlog. Pleasant enough girl, though she would go on about all the terrible, dreadful things she'd seen, accidents and violence and what-not. So my seeing just one body seemed pretty ordinary, really. But maybe that's part of the counselling. We sat in the garden having some tea. Heavy on the biscuits. Polished off 6 sandwich creams. She said it was nice it was so civilized. Had I seen a naked corpse before? She was just going when she turns back and she says, "Mrs. Horrocks, when I went on the counselling course, one of the things they teach you is that it helps to look things in the face right from the start." I said, "Well, I did look at the body. I actually touched it." She said, "Yes, but when the police start digging, which they have to do, there is a potential for distress." I said, "Digging? She said, metaphorically. I said, why should it affect me? She said, all the indications are that it won't, but the potential is there. Things come out, and I want you to know I'm here for you. I'm on a bleep. I said to Henry, it's nice she should be so concerned. He said, it's what she is there for, unfortunately. Article in the Mail yesterday, which I'd always thought was a bit more refined, but it's full of silly stuff about the case, what goes on behind the neat privet hedges type thing. I said to Henry, fat lot they know. There actually isn't a privet hedge in the entire road. They're mostly beech, and one or two cypresses Leylandi. He said he didn't think that was quite the point, and to a reporter a hedge was simply something to be peered through. Still, talking of neat, what with her being away on remand, the garden, which is usually so immaculate, is already beginning to look a bit, well, shaggy. She's got a herb garden outside the back door, and the borage has gone berserk, bullying its way all over the border. Made me long to nip over and put it in its place. I didn't want to ask Henry, though, as I was sure he'd think it inadvisable, Rosemary, quite candidly. But no, it turns out he's all in favour, and it had in fact occurred to him, though, it has to be said coming at it from a different angle from me, saying that if ever we're going to get anywhere near our asking price, a garden going to seed in the same road is the last thing one wants. So the upshot is I've started toddling up the road with my trusty secateurs. Thought I'd cut back the poppies now that they've flowered and give the achillea a chance to come through. Of course, I've scarcely got my kneeling pad down before Miss Lumsden's out, contriving to come by with an unconvincing bottle of Lucozade en route for the bottle bank. Wants to know if there are any sweet peas going begging. I said I'd thought of picking some and taking them down to the hospice. She said, what a nice idea. Some people might feel it a bit funny about them, but I suppose they're too far gone to care. And lots of jokes, of course, on the lines of Mr. Pemberton's, who do I have to shoot for you to come and do my garden? Smile got a bit fixed after a bit. Except that Sheila Blanchard did actually come in and lend a hand weeding the borders. Said she didn't blame her a bit. I mean husbands, Rosemary, who needs them? I said, well, they can be a comfort. She said, can they? Reggie isn't. I'm the comfort merchant. What's Henry like? Oh, I said, very, and I said such a silly word, very considerate. I saw her smile, and she's a nice woman, but I know it'll be up and down the road by tomorrow. But he is considerate. Timid, I suppose. Always has been. Wish he wasn't sometimes. What I haven't told Henry is that I dropped Mrs. McCorquodale a note to the prison, bringing her up to date on what I've been doing. I do it every day now. In fact, even sent her snaps. Told her today I was keeping an eye on the Alchemilla mollis. Lovely plant, but you have to read it the riot act occasionally. She rang this afternoon to thank me. I didn't know you could do that in prison. Ring up. Her name's Fran. Dear Fran.
Lingue originali.